Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Bashem Rakak Wadash. My name is Yakalba from Playing Tables Camp in Philly. This lesson is on fighting demons, discipline. Alright, this is third verse I wanted. It says 16:3 Proverbs. Commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. Let me look this word up. Commit. H1556. Galal. What's the word there? Is in Hebrew is gal. Let me show you. It means to turn or roll toward. Or it means to turn or roll. All right, more so in the English, you would say to turn. All right, let's see, 1556. That's the root, galal, but the word there is gal. You would turn and just to roll, but really it should be it's more comprehensible to say turn. Let me see. I put roll in. Roll in the thesaurus, and turn is one of the synonyms. All right, so turn is more simpler to digest. So turn unto Yahweh. Or commit, because when you're turning, you're committing, or rolling too. All right. Look down here. Should give like something short. It says, all right. Psalms 37:5. Roll upon Yahweh thy way. Really, in how we speak in English, you would say turn unto Yahweh thy way, or thy ways. For example, commit all thy concerns to the power. Proverbs 16:3. Yeah, gal, al, Yahweh. All right, so commit. You can say turn all thy ways. They break it down as roll. Roll. It don't really make sense. In my opinion, to say roll, it's more so turn, to turn oneself. All right. So commit or turn thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. All right. So when you can think clearly on the mission, on what the will of the Lord is, you can be more. Your thoughts can be established. Let's look up established. Yeah, Kawan, firm, stable. All right. Fixed, secure, enduring, directed, aright. All right. So commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. All right. Now let's look up established. So when you don't commit your works, I need antonyms. That's what I need. I need antonyms. Says, commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. So we got entrenched, settled, fixed. This is synonyms. Permanent, unshakable, deep-rooted. You got antonyms. You got indefinite, unfixed, false, invalidated, unsound, untrue, temporary, insolvent, unstable, undecided. So if you don't commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. All right, so you always have to, when you move forward, in your personal life, you have to establish your personal life around the ministry. And so you have a day you go out and preach, day you times, not days, but times that you do lessons. All right, you have to be organized. So you have to commit thy works. So you make time to do lessons. All right, and to work on yourself. So you keeping the commandments that you can keep, your spiritual development, whether it be prophecies, meanings of words. Commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. And so you'll be fixed. All right, what you think will be fixed. All right, instead of having thoughts that are not calmly or good for a prophet of the Lord, or of a hopeful elect person. All right, the more you commit your works, your thoughts will be more orderly. All right, will be more established. The opposite, if you don't commit your works, you'll be unstable, and your progress will be temporary and untrue. All right, but if you do commit your works, you'll be entrenched. Your thoughts will be entrenched. All right, rooted. All right, what else we got? I went on the roll. It's Matthew 16:24. It says, "Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." Deny. G533. We got aparneomai, which means to affirm that one has no acquaintance or connection with something. Yeah, you being depressed, you affirm, you disannul your association with depression and hopelessness and cloudiness of thought. All right, to affirm that one has no acquaintance or connection with someone or something or a thought process or a way of life. To forget oneself, lose sight of oneself and one's own interest. All right, so whatever you're trying to conquer, you lose sight of it. You forget about it. You compartmentalize it until it fades away, fade to black. It says down here, to utterly disown, to disdain, deny, to disown it. All right. So whatever bad habit you have, or demon, they're called demons. You disassociate yourself. You forget it. All right. You lose sight of it. And when you lose sight of it, you focus on something else. You just don't leave it empty. You focus on something else. All right, because if you leave it empty, it's just going to come back. All right, and this is a continual process. It's not just you just do it and then it just automatically you cure it. No, you got to continually work on yourself. All right, to affirm that one has no acquaintance or connection with someone or something. To disown or abstain. To restrain oneself from doing or enjoying something. All right, to deny. All right, so when we follow, and this is true for disciplines in the world also. All right, when you want to accomplish something, you have to deny yourself. All right, then say Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. His cross is sturas. Yeah, self-denial, exposure to death. And when we go out and teach, we show our face, we read the scriptures, and we put ourselves in danger, exposure to death. So we deny ourselves certain activities and pleasures, and we take up our cross, which is exposure to death and danger. All right? So if you want to follow Yahweh Shai, we got to not deny ourselves. If you want to accomplish our goals, all right, say in our personal life, all right, you have to deny yourself. Whosoever will save his life shall lose it, meaning you're too focused on what's going on in your personal life, or you're not focused on the ministry. You're only focused on your personal life. And whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. All right. So it's all about your priorities. All right. For what is a man profit if he gain the whole world? All right. Meaning opportunities, career paths, jobs, all right, and lose his own soul. Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? All right. So you basically you prioritize worldly gain over spiritual gain, because you have to have some type of worldly gain, but the point is that you're focused completely on just your worldly gain and not the ministry. You have to focus on the ministry first. All right. So you make the time to fulfill your office. All right. Which is going out and preaching. Our tradition is once a week. And now you do your business in the world. All right. Yeah, Proverbs 21:5. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. We got diligent. We got 27:42. We got Wataza. I'm saying that right. The sharp, pointed, sharp, diligent. Meaning it goes back to being focused. All right, strict, decision, conclusion, resolution. The decision, you have multiple things and you choose one. You narrow it down. So it's strict, sharp, pointed, diligent, meaning to focus. It's another word, sharp, pointed. Strict. Plenteousness, 41:95. Mawathar. Preeminence, abundance, profit, superiority, abundance. Whether it's spiritual or carnal in the world. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. It's not well thought out. You are too quick in your decision. All right. You got to be diligent and not hasty. Because want will lead you to poverty. Want is 42:70. We have Machasawar. poverty, lack, need. All right. The thoughts of the diligent. All right, 2742. Sharp, pointed, sharp. Decision. All right. Meaning your focal point is on the thing or things. Instead of being 20 things, it's 2 things or 1 thing or 3 things. All right. It says 10:4 Proverbs, he becometh poor that dealeth with slack hands, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. All right, slack, focusing on here, 74:23. We Ram Yah. Laziness, slackness, deceit, treachery. Laziness, slackness, reminiscence, false. All right. So you have to put in the work. All right. If you want to be rich, it's for the spiritual riches first. I know we're not going to really get rich in this kingdom, but to become rich, it's the rich we're talking about here. We got plautizo, to make rich and rich of spiritual riches, to be richly furnished, to make wealthy. All right, because these things go for for the spiritual riches and for gaining wealth in the world, or money in the world. Slack hand is going to bring you to poverty. On either one, he becomes poor that deals with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. You got what, H2742 again. Sharp, strict, make decisions. When you constantly changing your decisions, changing business models and plans, you're going to get nowhere. All right, so you have to be focused. You have to be sharp pointed. And you gotta dig down in the trenches and make a decision about how you're going to move forward. All right, like doing a lesson. The longer it takes you to build the lesson is because you have so many options. You got to trim it down to, instead of having like 40 scriptures, you got to trim it down to like 5 or 10, so you can move forward, make a decision. Sharp. It's figuratively sharp. And it goes to like intelligence, meaning go back to making a decision. See how these words all loop back to each other. Intelligence, I believe it goes back to like making a decision, being able to decide. Intelligent, you have having good understanding, high mental capacity, quick comprehend, displaying characteristics by quickness of understanding, sound thought or judgment. To pick up, to choose. Means to choose, to understand, literally to choose between. Yeah, like what scriptures you want to bring out. You got to choose. You got to narrow it down. You have to be pointed. Intelligence. Let's go back to H2742. Literally to choose between. Hope you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. Strict point decision. Sharp, pointed, sharp. he becometh poor that deals with a slack hand, laziness. But the hand of the diligent, or of the intelligent, being able to make a decision, maketh rich, and you got to stick to it. You can't keep changing, switching around, switching up, because the more you change and switch up, the longer the process is going to be. So you have to stick to it and keep doing it over and over, whatever it is, spiritually, in the world. Once you find, make that decision, stick to it and keep reproducing it. All right, like one example would be, if you got trouble drinking alcohol, don't stop drinking alcohol and keep doing the same behavior over and over again. All right, the more you change that behavior from when you made a decision, the slower your progress is going to be moving forward. Same thing with how you get money in the world. You go to work every day, and you keep going to work every day, and you get more and more money, and you spend less than you make. All right, but if you only want to work twice a week, you aren't consistent. So the less consistent you are, less money you'll have. All right, let's move forward. We got First Thessalonians, all right. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 11, and that ye study to be quiet and to do your own business and to work with your own hands as we command you. All right, 2270. We got Eta is pronounced with an H. Hesukazo. I would have said Esukazo. Hesukazo, which means to rest, to lead a quiet life, said of those who are not running hither and thither, but stay at home and mind their business. All right, that's when you're not working, obviously. All right. To refrain from labor, meddlesomeness of speech. All right. So pretty much, staying out of trouble, not running around, getting into shit that don't involve, spiritual things, or making your money, your business in the world. All right. To do your own business and to work with your hands. Work with your own hands as we commanded you. All right. So it's purging. You purge these demons out. All right. This is Matthew 12 and 44. Well, Matthew 12 and 43. When an unclean spirit is going out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeketh rest, and findeth none. All right. So when you first come in, you purge those demons. All right, but the issue is you have to replace that empty room with spiritual things, with purpose. All right. Matthew 12:44. Then he saith, I will return unto my house from whence I came out, and when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Now, if he came back and it was filled with purpose, all right, meaning work, all right. Thoughts that lead to, getting those spiritual riches, actions that lead to spiritual riches, a program, even if you got to write it down, and constant repetition. So if the spirit comes back and he sees that there's no program there, all right, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. When we looked at the word up, garnished, it means to make ready. All right. So when the spirit came back, it was. Let's look it up. Oh, they got it up. 288. Yeah, 2885 means to put in order, arrange, to make ready, prepare, All right, so if you don't replace the emptiness, it's going to be prepared to inhabit, as it says down, is being prepared to inhabit by more demons. So you got to fill the empty space that's clean with the Holy Spirit, and with which will give you your purpose. All right. Then he goeth and taketh himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. All right. So they're gonna get. So yeah, 2/3 of Israel is gonna wax worse and worse. But we, as the hopeful elect, when those spirits were cast out of us, when those spirits try to return, we have to fill it with something, so it's not made ready for wicked spirits, but it's made ready for the Holy Spirit, and it constantly dwells there. All right. This is Ephesians 6:16. It says, above all, taking the shield of faith, right, and belief, trust that we'll be able to conquer whatever demons we got, right, even if they're long suffering. Ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. All right. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Yeah, faith, pistis. Conviction of the truth of anything, belief. Conviction of belief respecting man's relationship to the power of divine thing, generally with the included idea of trust and holy favor born of faith and joined with it. Conviction, form of declaration. So they put in a negative connotation. Let's look it up. Conviction. Conquered. Proof. Conviction means proof. They got in parentheses of guilt. Conviction, conquered. See, convince. Belief. Opposite would be doubt. Uncertainty. Conviction. A fixed or firm belief. All right, you get that by establishing your works, your ways. Go back to commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. All right, and through those thoughts will establish your purpose, and you'll be able to navigate this life with skill. All right, and it takes practice. All right, even if you fail, you still on the same program. You keep repeating the good works over and over and over again, and reduce your evil works, and over time you'll get to a satisfactory position. And another thing that causes sometimes you to lose sight of your purpose is when you focus too much and your flesh is weak. You got to know how to, as here, to rest. Do your work and rest. Work and rest. All right. Sometimes you can work a lot. Sometimes you can work you only have strength to work a little. But you have to know how to get your rest in while you're working, so you won't be overwhelmed with the task at hand. All right. Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which was planted. So everything has a time. All right. A time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. All right, so I'm embracing right now doing this lesson. That after this, I'm gonna have to rest, because this lesson's taking a lot out of me. I do these lessons, and the preach on the street takes a lot of mental energy. All right, and sometimes you have a lot of it in abundance, so you can do multiple lessons. You can do a lot. You can talk a lot. And other times, your energy is low. All right, so it's a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. All right, time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away stones. All right, so you're gonna gain money. You're gonna have to pay bills. You may invest into something that's not profitable. All right, because you got to figure out what's profitable. You're gonna spend a lot of money here and there. All right, goes like with camp times. You may experiment with different camp times and see what's more profitable. What time to go out to camp? Let's send another example. A time to rent and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. All right. Sometimes you're just silent. Sometimes, and other times, you gotta speak up. All right. So in conclusion, how to ward off these demons. All right. You commit your works to Yahushua. You focus. All right. You get organized. All right. Whether you're writing stuff down, you got sticky notes up on the walls or whatever, you got constant affirmations. You're actively working on yourself, whatever it may be. All right. You commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established, meaning fixed, firm. All right, not I don't know, I'm not too sure about that. That's hard. It's too hard. It's too difficult. You commit to this wisdom, and you'll learn. Deny yourself. This is a big one. Deny yourself. Disassociate yourself with bad habits. All right. Forget it. Leave it alone. All right. Put it to death. All right. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his exposure to death. All right. Exposure to danger. All right. Which means go out and preach. All right. Go out and preach. Let him take up his cross and follow me. And if you don't take up that cross and you don't deny yourself, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. So if you don't deny yourself, you don't take up your cross, you eventually going to be cast out and left exposed. All right. And you're not going to be saved. All right. So I'll leave that there. Hope you edified. Shalom.